The news is in. Diddy was just acquitted of the most serious charges against him.
There was an eruption of people just cheering and so happy that he was found not guilty.
But if he truly is guilty, then this is not good news for him. In fact, it may have been the worst thing that could happen to him. Here's why. You've probably seen headlines like this all day, saying that Diddy was acquitted on some of the most serious charges that someone can face. But acquitted hides the complexity. He was found guilty on 2 lesser accounts under the Mann Act, basically transporting people across state lines for prostitution. But the more serious charges, like sex trafficking and racketeering, he was found not guilty. So legally, it seems Diddy is going to walk out largely untouched. And this verdict, despite what it says on paper, is exactly what's fueling the outrage and distrust. Now, before we get to why this is such bad news for Diddy, you have to remember what people won't forget. When Cassie's allegations first surfaced, Diddy made this post addressing the situation, claiming total innocence and saying that it was all just a money grab. And some people believed him, including celebrities like Floyd Mayweather and Slim Thug, who defended Diddy publicly. And for a while, that narrative stuck, until the video came out. The footage wasn't only brutal, it had reportedly been kept hidden with hush money as well. And that's when the version of Diddy's story that people believe started to collapse. Diddy only took accountability once it became impossible to deny, leading people to assume that the same thing might be true about the rest of these allegations. And add to the fact that this didn't happen in a vacuum. This verdict landed in a world where rich and powerful people have gotten away with terrible crimes for too long. And so for some people, it's not hard to imagine how someone as rich and powerful as Diddy could have escaped justice. When you have enough money, enough lawyers, and enough industry silence protecting you, justice starts to look optional. And so it's no wonder why people are angry. And it's no wonder why they feel like the truth is powerless when it goes up against wealth, fame, and influence. So when Diddy walks away from the biggest charges, even after what we've already seen, it doesn't feel like closure. Instead, it feels like confirmation that in this world, the system can be manipulated and the powerful get to play by different rules. But that's not quite right, because here's the thing. A lot of people hear not guilty and assume that the story's over, that someone walks away clean and free from the consequences. But if Diddy is actually guilty, then this isn't good news for him. In fact, the opposite is actually true. Even though he may walk out of the court, the danger when someone gets away with something this serious is that it doesn't just delay accountability, it changes how you see yourself. When nothing happens publicly, it reinforces the lie that you're untouchable, which leads to a more hardened heart. You start to believe that the rules don't apply to you, that you can outrun justice, and that you're above sentencing. But this path is a loaded gun. This doesn't just corrupt your choices, it corrupts your soul and pulls you further away from the reality that you're still just a mortal man, fully accountable to the ultimate judge. For those of us that are Christian, we know that no one escapes God's judgment. Not me, not you, not Diddy. A courtroom can get it wrong and a jury can be swayed, but God isn't swayed by fame or money or status. He sees everything. Every motive, every cover-up, every moment behind closed doors. And this should terrify the guilty, because in the end, no one actually gets away with anything. That's why this could be the worst thing to happen to Diddy if he is guilty in God's eyes. This verdict wouldn't mean that he's free, it just means that he hasn't yet paid the price for his crimes. Okay, now with that in mind, here's what's scary. That same drift towards self-deception, towards thinking that we're getting away with something, isn't unique to Diddy. Most of us don't need the millions or the headlines to feel untouchable. We just need a private habit we're unwilling to surrender, or a secret that nobody's called out yet. That's why scripture says, today if you hear his voice, don't harden your heart. The worst thing that could happen to any of us isn't public exposure, it's private hardening. And the only real way to know that you're safe is if you turn to Christ, trust in him to change you from the inside out before your heart grows too numb to hear him trying to rescue you from yourself. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching to the end. And just so you know, we're a nonprofit ministry and we're working hard to bring another full-time employee in, so that way we can get out high quality content for you guys faster and faster. So if you want to help us make that happen, there's a link down below in the description. Alright, see you guys next time.